Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Welcome back to Listen Up. It is just me tonight for the game recap. We do apologize for having this recap out so late for you guys, but I'm on for the game recap. But I will be back tomorrow as well for the last check-in before UConn's next game, which is now Wednesday night at 7:30 against Ole Miss. And UConn now, of course, gets the privilege to play against Ole Miss in the Baha Mar championship game because of their win tonight against the Oregon State Beavers. The final score was 71-52. But before I get into the game recap, like always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate all the support, the views, the comments over the last couple of videos. Of course, we're gonna have three videos in a row here now before we go on this little Thanksgiving break. But I wanted to mention the South Carolina game as kind of go over the rankings really quick in the shakeup. South Carolina lost their first game in about 2 years on Sunday. So South Carolina falls from number one to number four. The team that defeated the Gamecocks, UCLA, is now number one. They jump into that number one spot. So pretty crazy game yesterday. And watch out for Lauren Betts and those Bruins. They might be pretty tough now. Also, Sarah Strong received Freshman of the Week honors for the third straight week in a row. But now let's get into the recap for tonight's game in the Bahamas. Both teams kind of started out a little slow. It took Oregon State about 4 minutes to score their first points. UConn also started 0 of 4 from three until Paige finally broke the seal on that one. Um, Jana el Alfy, KK Arnold, AZ Fudd were the first subs off the bench tonight. And I really like how Jana came into tonight's game and made an immediate impact. We saw her struggle around the rim in the previous game. Definitely not her best game, but I'm glad she was able to come out tonight and make an immediate impact and kind of shake her last performance off, move on from that. She had a nice game tonight. Um, Paige scored uh, Paige scored half of UConn's points, 22, half of UConn's 22 points in the first quarter. Paige had 11 of those. I liked UConn's rebounding and defense that continued to be spot on, making it tough for the Beavers to score. And that trend continued throughout the first half tonight. Oregon State was just overwhelmed, overpowered. They were a lot of things in the first half, and it almost seemed like they looked lost at sometimes too on the court. They only had 10 points halfway through the second quarter, ended the first half with 19. Huskies were getting steals left and right. Oregon State just had no chance to get anything going, no chance to get any kind of momentum started. But UConn was really playing well again. Everybody contributing. We saw Ali Zabel come in. She knocked down back-to-back three-pointers, so glad to see her finding her shot a little bit. I like the way AZ got involved off the bench tonight. Only her second game back, kind of struggled to get her shot to fall tonight, but she had 4 rebounds and 5 assists. And the same for KK as well tonight. Kind of struggled to score, but she had 5 assists and 3 steals. So like we say sometimes, it's not always about scoring and making all the flashy plays, but it's important that UConn subs always find a way to kind of come off the bench and make an impact, make some kind of impact to help the team win. That's really all that matters. Oregon State got their offense rolling, got it rolling a little bit in the second half, and it was kind of the opposite for UConn. What happened to UConn kind of slowed down a little bit, which has been perhaps a concerning trend that we've seen so far this season. Really hasn't been much, honestly, that UConn's done wrong. Not really any bad things that UConn's done, but I will say throughout these first 5 games, all fairly easy wins, of course, but in every game they've gotten out to a pretty sizable lead in the first half at least. And the second half rolls around, we kind of see them, take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit, kind of slow down, and they kind of let the other team come back into the game, kind of let them hang around for a little bit. So it's definitely something for UConn to improve on as we move forward. And Oregon State scored 21 in the fourth quarter to kind of cut that final deficit number. UConn still won by 19, but it did feel like UConn could have won, should have won by a little bit more, but 19, of course, is still a pretty good size victory. But again, it was another team win, which was nice to see again. And I like how we continue to see the chemistry shine for UConn. Everybody looks to be in sync for at least most of the time on the court. I think Paige subbed out with about 6 minutes or so left in this game in the fourth quarter. UConn again kind of struggled to score a little bit. Of course, the game, technically over at that point as UConn was winning by about 20, I believe. But again, that's always something, something to work on moving forward as well, to go along with, kind of letting these opponents stay in the game. Definitely need when Paige is on the bench, definitely need some players to step up a little bit while Paige is taking a seat. But Paige did lead all Huskies in scoring again tonight with 23 points. She also had 6 assists and 3 rebounds. So obviously another solid game for Paige. Sarah Strong with another very solid performance, 13 points, 8 rebounds to go with 6 steals and 2 blocks. Jana scored 12 off the bench tonight. So, like I said, really liked how she bounced back tonight. Forgot about the last game, put that behind her. So I was glad to see her do good tonight off the bench. Ashlyn with a pretty solid game. Hopefully she's okay. I kind of saw where she took a little shot to the stomach area. It seemed like she had to come out. So hopefully she'll be good for the quick turnaround game on Wednesday. But I think Ashlyn played pretty well tonight. Like I said, I like the way KK and AZ came in off the bench and made an impact. But now, of course, like UConn will face 18th ranked Ole Miss Wednesday night. So I guess I'll go over a couple comments here and sign off for the night. We will go to the disruptive one first. They said Oregon State is not good. To me, this is a warm-up game before Ole Miss. We might need a good performance from AZ to beat Ole Miss, so I hope we see incremental improvement from her in this game. I would like to see Jana play better also. Yeah, I mean, I think AZ, she, like I said, she played solid tonight. I think her minutes will probably continue to go up. So, yeah, I think we'll continue to see her play, pretty good basketball, and obviously she's such a good shooter and just a pure scorer. So I think her shooting numbers will definitely continue to improve as the season goes on. And yeah, like I said, I think, I'm really glad Jana was able to come off the bench and kind of shake off her last performance from the other game the other night. Next comment we'll go over here is from BRN Soldier. They said, "Hey Phil and Rye, got my tickets to the NCAA Women's Championship Classic, Louisville versus UConn. Can't wait. Notre Dame will be a test, but nothing we can't handle. If our shots fall, go UConn. Well, yeah, that should be a pretty fun one. I believe that Louisville versus UConn game is in New York, I believe, for that women's championship classic. So I know that's usually a pretty good game every year. So that should definitely be a fun one to go to. You'll have to tell us what that atmosphere is like. That should be a pretty fun one. But yeah, Notre Dame, I mean, like I said, they beat USC. Um, I think USC in that game, a couple, well, probably probably a couple more than just a couple turnovers in that game. I think it probably could have been a little closer. The Trojans probably could have honestly won that game, but either way, you if you guys have been watching, I've been talking about Notre Dame for a while. Kind of expected them to have a couple better previous seasons, but I think this year they're going to be pretty tough. And of course, UConn needs to travel to Notre Dame for that Shamrock Classic, I believe it is. So that could very well be UConn's toughest test this season. We'll go over one more comment here from Steve Kinsey. They said the past few years when the Huskies travel in the early season, they haven't played their best. Hoping to see more minutes from AZ and more threes at the bottom of the net. Yeah, I think we saw at least a couple more minutes from AZ in this game, and I think that'll continue to probably go up as Gino kind of just wants to ease her, I'm sure, back into play here. As of course, like we all know, it's only her second game, or it was only her second game tonight. So I think her minutes will continue to go up, but it kind of will be interesting to see if some point we randomly just see her in the starting lineup, possibly for Ashlyn, maybe for Kaylin Chen as well. So maybe she'll continue to keep coming off the bench, or maybe we'll see her in the starting lineup for one of these games. And I think for the threes, we didn't really see more tonight. I don't think we saw more. UConn did make 10, so it's pretty solid, but nothing spectacular, right? But I think we're seeing a pretty consistent number of threes, 3-point attempts and 3 points made. So I guess that's a pretty positive thing for UConn so far throughout this season. But I think that's going to do it for me tonight. Again, final score 71-52, and I will be back on in about 12 hours here for the last check-in, which of course will be against the ranked Ole Miss Rebels. So I will see you guys tomorrow for the last check-in video. This has been Rye for the game recap on Listen Up.